On this episode of Cemetery Road, I find myself in Goldfield, Nevada, at the Goldfield Cemetery. This is a cemetery I've been wanting to do for a very long time. The last time I was in this area, I was traveling through here way later in the day than I was expecting, so it was way too dark to come here and check out this cemetery. So we're going to pause now, we're going to hang out here, and I'm going to show you some of the stones that are here. Much like the cemetery in Tonopah, which I have already done an episode on, one of the very interesting things about this cemetery is that, as we've seen, there are small plaques on most of the graves that I've looked at so far that tell you who's buried there, generally how old they were, when they died, and for the most part, how they died, which is very, very interesting. Usually you don't see that. You will see, name, dates, an inscription of some sort sometimes, and that's it. Here, the reality of how rough life was in this area at the beginning of the 19th century or the 1900s is just right in your face. Mine accidents, murders, a lot of sicknesses, a lot of pneumonia, diphtheria, lots of children, lots of miners. It's a sobering location, much like the Tonopah Cemetery is. And as you've seen, it's a lot of plain white crosses with that metal inscription nailed or screwed onto them, because these people were not wealthy. They did not have a lot of money. As you can see right here, just plain white rocks with their names painted or etched on them, plain wooden crosses, chunks of just thick wood, most likely timbers that were also used in the mines, with the metal stamping on it. There are very few like proper headstones here. Those are the people that actually had some money. Maybe they owned mines, or they owned stores or restaurants in town. But for the most part, these are the people that just worked the land here. Another thing we're going to see is far away from this area that I'm at, I actually have to get back in the van and drive over there, is a potter's field. This was for the people who had no money. Simple white rock, boom. And a lot of those times they didn't even have names or dates on them, just a marker of some sort, letting people know that somebody was buried there. Let's keep looking around. So I've already spent way longer here than I expected to. I've probably been here a good hour and a half or so. I know a lot of that footage was a lot of reading because I just went up and down every row, really focusing on the ones that could tell us a story and give us an idea of what this place was like back in the early 1900s. I'm gonna look around a little bit more and then I'm gonna have to head out. But first, there's a couple of sections, exclusive sections like the Knights of Pythas, a couple others around here. We're gonna take a quick look at those. We're gonna head over to the Potter's Field and then we gotta hit the road. I've spent way longer here than I expected. I've been here for almost 2 hours. It was a lot of reading for you guys, but I wanted to make sure to showcase as many of the personal stories that I found on those plaques as possible to give you an idea of who these people were, what life was like here in the early 1900s. You know, when we go to cemeteries, we know the stones have stories to tell. This one had a lot. So now we're going to jump in the van and we're going to drive all the way across this property to the Potter's Field, which is very much set apart from everything else. All right, so I've driven over here by the Potter's Field. The Potter's Field is a small plot, literally just decorated with simple white stones. Most of them just have a name on there. No dates, no information, no nothing, just white stones and names. There is one single military burial right there. But other than that, it's all just these white rocks. We're going to take a look around and I'm going to tell you about Goldfield's most famous burial here, which happens to be in the Potter's Field. So in Goldfield, Nevada, in the Potter's Field, there lies the remains of an unknown man who apparently died eating library paste behind the old library. Now, I say it's the most famous burial here at the Goldfield Cemetery because the internet has basically kind of like taken this guy under their wing. Story goes that in the library in town, they would have the garbage and the waste in the back of the building. And they had thrown away a bunch of library paste. Library paste is exactly what you think it is. It's the paste that they would use to glue books back together. Well, an unknown man, a transient man, maybe someone who came here to find his fortune in the hills of Goldfield, was hungry. And he found something that he thought could fill his stomach. He ate the library paste, and it's a very toxic material. And due to that, he died. I mean, that's one way to go. But I find it odd. I find it, I don't know, weird, ironic, that the unknown man who just died behind a building in an old West town is probably one of the more famous, well-known people in this cemetery. All right, I have got to get back on the road, but I've been looking forward to stopping here again. I've been here once before, and I've always wanted to do an episode for you guys to give you a look at it. If you're ever driving through the nowheres of Nevada and you find yourself coming across Goldfield, I highly recommend stopping and taking a wander amongst the stones here. Until next time, remember, as always, stay safe, be responsible, and I'll see you on the next one.